Welcome back. What did you think of that first game, all right? Yeah, were you entertained? I was entertained by you guys. Everyone had a face like this. Oh my God. So, you guys are really getting into it. I don't want to stand between you and this next game between Dignitas and CLG. This could be CLG's chance to move on and face Team Solo Mid in the final match, or Dignitas could take it back, even things up, and bring us to a third game. Let me not hold this off any further, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
thank you, Rach. We are back. Game number 2 about to go underway, and you know we have to talk a little bit about bans we may see coming from Dignitas. Vayne, possible. Shyvana, 100% win so far this weekend, also possible. And Nivea, those walls, amazing. We will see what they do, but you know what? We're just gonna go straight in. Picks bans starting right now, and let's just go. I want to go over the bans from last game. CLG sticking. Looks like they're going to be sticking to the same bans. They had Lulu, Soraka, and Italy last game. Dignitas last game banned out Udyr, Soraka, and Rise. So we'll see if they change any of that up.
Yeah, all of these games between CLG and Dignitas have been going kind of long, so definitely doesn't want to have that late game presence. The big thing with the Lulu Soraka is that there's not anyone in particular that is a weak link for the team. They can sit there and make Cog and Uber tank while still being Kog'Maw. So definitely doesn't want to deal with that. But we're seeing actually almost the same bans, but there it is, the Anivia ban. That was definitely kind of expected. Just fantastic control from Big Fat in that game.
So see, now we've got a little bit of a tough situation for CLG because there are a lot of champs with very high win rates, lots of success still open. They could play it safe. They can go ahead and take Janna, but they risk Dignitas getting 2 really big champs with their first 2 picks. I mean, we see Mundo still ridiculously popular. Lee Sin having a lot of success. Shyvana a lot of success. Vayne.
But even so, if CLG, they will pick up the Janna. So Janna, just so effective throughout this tournament, still has effective fight control, and that's what CLG wants. They want to have that, those disables up front. Dignitas, I don't think they want to allow CLG to get Shyvana for St. Vicious, just able to disrupt that back line. I don't know. I'd be curious to see whether or not Dignitas still runs that Kog'Maw, because Kog'Maw we had seen was so effective earlier in the tournament, but now CLG just able to shut it down. We saw TSM beating the Kog'Maw from Dignitas yesterday. We've seen CLG with the effective play last game. We might see a little bit more of an aggressive early game DPS. Maybe a Corki from Cutie. It's one of his favorite champions, obviously. Maybe even going into like an Urgot, that aggressive. Kind of carry to take down Vayne. Vayne's cleanse can't, shut down Urgot's swap, but at the same time, Janna's whirlwind can. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Mundo and Corki being the first 2 for Dignitas. So once again, sticking to their guns in the jungle. Mundo sticking around. They'll be dominate on that. And we got Shyvana once again being picked up by CLG. We'll see what they do with that. But we've seen the bans, and Nivea is no longer available. So they do need to find a replacement AP mid. But you know what? Look at this, though. Nidalee is open.
Nidalee is open. We'll have to see what kind of comp CLG is trying to run. I don't know. A lot of it depends. They might pick up Kog'Maw here because they could use Kog'Maw ranged or as that AP mid, run that kind of poke comp that CLG is always very well known for. But at the same time, Corki is going to be extremely aggressive in that bot lane. It'll be interesting to see who they pair up, and there it is, the Kog'Maw pick. So that could either go mid or bot, and with CLG, we have seen a lot of AP Kog'Maw from Big Fat. Not this tournament yet, but having that Kog'Maw with that Nidalee, that's definitely an option.
And yeah, Cog can play bot, he can play mid. We could still see a little bit of a psych off from CLG. Like they can still pick, Vayne is still open. They could actually take Vayne, throw Cog mid, and we also can see Shyvana could actually go jungle or top. We have a lot of options here coming from CLG. They still have 2 picks left, and that will determine the rest of their team. But Dignitas now needs to figure out what they're going to be doing. And Nunu, more likely in support, going to be there with Corki bot lane.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We do have the last pick, that counter pick for Dignitas. I think they probably want to pick their top lane right now because I think the mid lane is going to be more significant. There is the threat that CLG is going to run that poke team, and if that's the case, we're going to want some strong initiation from Dignitas. And right now, they don't really have the best initiation as a team. If we had someone like a Galio mid to do very well against that Kog'Maw, be extremely aggressive, but then in the team fights, be able to just flat out kill the entire team. Couple that with Corki. But actually, we're going to see Skara.
We got it?
We're actually going to see Mordekaiser, so there you go.
We got it. We got the Mordekaiser. I've been wanting to see it all weekend, and now we got it.
And Mordekaiser, definitely has that burst potential to take down, champion like Kog'Maw in that back line. The question is, how well can CLG protect Kog? And, with Shyvana, with Janna, that's a lot of protection there. So it'll be tough. One of the issues with Mordekaiser as a champion, he can farm very well. He's a little susceptible to ganks early on. Shyvana probably won't be getting those ganks off mid. It depends on what Big Fat's doing mid, if he has an aggressive mid champion or not. But Mordekaiser, he's very easy to kite in fights. You need the fight to come to you. You want to just be tanking in the center, be that frontline champion. But if CLG is running a kite team, and actually it is a poke team.
We got it.
Honestly, this is what we've seen from CLG. Great team fight compositions, great synergy with their team, and they are known for poke comps. I'm honestly thrilled to death. I had actually seen a match almost a year ago where CLG, I think it was Big Fat was going bottom as Corki, and he DC'd for most of the game. CLG won 4v5 with a poke team because they had Nidalee, they had Lux, and that's just how strong they are with their poke comps. I don't know, it's going to be fantastic. Kog'Maw does have the range. He will have the slow, so he will be able to kite Mordekaiser. It will be difficult for Mordekaiser to engage in that mid lane. So, I don't know, this will be interesting to see. As the game progresses further and further, we have so much poke damage from CLG. They can just wear them down underneath that tower. And Voyboy, it looks like he's going with the Jax. So if Jax can, get into that, get really tanky, get into that back line, he can maybe start that fight initiation for them a little bit. But Lee Sin, there you go. Lee Sin, definitely Voyboy's, one of Voyboy's top champions, extremely aggressive in that top lane.
And Lee Sin is also having quite a bit of success this tournament as well. But I do worry a little bit about Nunu, though. Nunu is 0-4 so far. And also, we got a lot of first-time champs in this tournament. Caitlyn, first time we're seeing her. Mordekaiser, first time we're seeing him. We got a lot. It can go a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and the concern is Nunu doesn't usually go flash. Locust not going to go flash in this game. Nunu's strength is when the enemy's trying to come to you. Nunu can shut down the enemy carry when you've got, that DPS carry like Vayne that just wants to get off all those auto attacks. When you've got that short range, Vayne runs into the Nunu ult, and Nunu can just kind of shut, those kind of champions down. But against this long-range poke team, lots of magic damage, it's going to be difficult for Nunu to get involved in the game. You're absolutely right. So the key will be, I don't know, whether or not Dignitas can take enough of an advantage early that they can pursue objectives. They definitely have a little bit of a stronger early game team. So if they can get some early objectives, force CLG to bring the fight to them. That's what they want. They want CLG to not be able to sit there and stall them and poke. They want CLG to have to engage, and then Dignitas has the strength in those fights. But I don't know. We have a very strong comp from both teams. CLG in particular has the kiting potential with Janna, all that movement speed as a team, and then that long-range damage.
Yeah, the movement speed bonus with Janna, and if things get a little bit too out of hand, she can just reset the fight. Dignitas, they're just going to be scattered after that, and they can go ahead and continue the poke and get the kills and everything else that they need. But I am so excited. We got Hotshot on Nidalee. We got Skara on Mordekaiser. First Caitlyn of the tournament as well. This is the nice little fanboy game for everyone out there who wants to see some of their favorite players see some of their best champs.
And it should be interesting to see whether or not we see a lot of aggression from St. Vicious in the mid and top lane, because Skara on Mordekaiser, he's going to be pushing that wave constantly. He's going to be pushed up, out of position, doesn't have a lot of mobility. If Skara is trying to go after those race, which is very common with his playstyle with those aggressive pushing champions, then if CLG has good ward coverage, we see Big Fat LP getting the slow. We see St. Vicious engaging on Mordekaiser, maybe catching him out of position. Lee Sin with Voyboy, again, that high risk, high reward kind of champion. Lee Sin, Voyboy, very common, to go out of energy. He likes being extremely aggressive with his abilities. He uses his shield to get right up in your face on the creep. So if you can bait out that shield, bait him to low energy, then all of a sudden he's out of position, maybe pick up some kills, though it will be kind of difficult for Hotshot to pick up any kills in this top lane. Doesn't really have the kind of damage that you expect in order to combo it, but we'll have to see whether or not they can take him down.
And if we need to evade some spears in the meantime, Lee Sin, he's a very mobile guy. He's got his shield. He can go around and do some fancy footwork if he needs to. But like we said before, top lane, very important for CLG. It's where they get a bunch of all their kills, and it's definitely a concern. We need to see what happens once again with Nidalee versus Lee Sin. I think what happens top lane may be a big part of who wins this game.
Yeah, and I think that it's primarily going to turn into a farm fest. Nidalee doesn't really have the harass damage to go through the shield, to go through the sustain that Lee Sin has. So, even it'll be interesting to see whether or not they try and pick off those champions. But I don't know. We'll take a look at our teams right here, and they're definitely both powerhouses here. We'll see who's going to get to face off against TSM. CLG once again 1-0. And I don't know, I'm kind of curious, whether or not CLG can push it into that portion of the game. It takes a little bit for the Poke team to ramp up. You need to get through that early game. Caitlyn definitely very strong in the early game, but once you get the damage on Kog'Maw and on Nidalee, once you have the mana, I expect that, we'll see Hotshot picking up an early rod, which is, very common, what he likes to do top, so that, Kog'Maw can keep that blue buff, because Kog needs to constantly be spamming in those fights.
All right. One more game to go. If CLG wins this next game, they'll go to grand finals against TSM. If you want to see CLG win with the hotshot Nidalee GJ. And they need to win this one in order to stay alive. Can I get something for the Mordekaiser on Skara? We got a little bit of a point defense coming in from both teams, trying to prevent potential invades. QPie actually recalling in that bot bush right there, but double lift and hotshot, bot lane.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's just coming bot shortly. But actually, you know what? I have actually seen Hotshot play Nidalee as a support before. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I think with that teleport, he's just trying to get some early control for this bottom lane, see if they can pick up a kill by walking into the double trap. The issue with the support, I have seen it before. Caitlyn and Nidalee, it is an extremely aggressive early game lane. It's just absolutely dominant. But I don't expect that we're going to see, that. I don't know, there's just no reason for it. Chowster going to be coming down this bottom lane. It'll be interesting to see, if that trap wall is going to hurt Cutie Pie or Locust at all. They don't have the heals in that lane.
I'm also, these next few weeks of solo queue, man, we're going to be seeing a lot of Kog'Maw. After this tournament, we're going to be seeing quite a bit of it, I think.
We've been seeing it for a while. He's definitely an extremely strong champion. But there you go, that trap wall all across bottom for Dignitas. They left the one hole there. And, knowing they've got the aggressive champion with Caitlyn. And Caitlyn is just so aggressive early in the game, has great harass, actually taking quite a bit of damage from these golems. But they will have the level advantage and then maybe able to get off some harass there.
So perfectly placed. It's like minions. Minions you can go through. Corky, we got to check your ID here. Hold on.
It's actually better that Cutie Pie cleared that one. If that gap was just large enough for him to get through, then maybe we see them trying to retreat into that wall, getting picked off. But already we see some that effective damage against Cutie Pie will set up those skill shots from Caitlyn.
So Nidalee now going top lane after setting up the trap wall. Skara and Big Fat in mid, Kog'Maw versus Mordekaiser. And Kog'Maw can definitely outrange and pick away at that shield if need be. So it's going to be rough for Skara to stay aggressive in this lane, but he can passive farm very well, push to tower, and Kog'Maw's going to be doing a lot of farming under tower, I think, here early on.
Yeah, we're definitely expecting to see Scar with an aggressive push early on, see if he can prevent some of Kog'Maw's farm. AP Kog'Maw, once he gets some levels, definitely has that great range, that great farming capability, able to clear the waves, but early on, not so much, so that will deny some farm, but we'll see whether or not that puts Scar at a disadvantage for these early ganks. They do have the ward over by the race, though, so they can see, Saint coming up from that red path.
We still have 2 traps here down bot. Dignitas still has to clear them. And hopefully CLG doesn't go in on them and just happenstance goes into one of these little traps. Get them a little bit lower, maybe even get the kill just by forgetting that they're there. It's like, oh man, I forgot that cupcake was there. Dang.
and we actually see Voyboy pushing up extremely aggressively early, going back for an early ward a little bit earlier than we usually see. Definitely doesn't want to get to an early disadvantage, knowing that he's going to be pushing against Nidalee. So that ward coverage will definitely help him out. Should be extremely safe in that top lane, and once again, just turn it into a free farm lane.
So because Kog'Maw actually has quite a bit of range on Mordekaiser, it's going to be very difficult for him to keep that shield up. He does get, see, right there, just the shield almost instantly gone. Every single time Scar actually goes in, he's actually getting quite a bit of damage. Saint Fish is now coming in with the exhaust, already going in. The exhaust, oh, he's going to be able to get out just in time. But in the meantime, though, we do have Dominate with both buffs wandering down, but we did see him. There is a ward right there.
Yeah, but the flash is down for Skara, so he's really going to be vulnerable for a while now. It'll be key for St. Vicious to continue ganking that lane, see if he can pressure him, but I will Dominate coming in behind. They will see him with the ward, but he's going to have enough closing speed that he can come up. Nunu chasing down Double F here, gets off the ice ball just in time. There's the whirlwind. I'm a Cutie Pie chasing him down. The flash going off for Double F. There's an exhaust from I Will Dominate. They're chasing him down. They should be have enough damage here. There's the ignite, able to pick up the kill. The first blood going to Cutie Pie.
That ward, I mean, they saw him coming, but you know what? By the time he was there, it was just a little bit too late. I mean, good job on Chaucer being a nice little human shield to absorb that cleaver, but in the end, there's just a little bit too much for CLG to deal with.
And just so you guys know, I'm always kind of curious, you know, the AP Cog, how Big Fat kind of plays him. Getting, you know, one level in each, maxing that slow, definitely going to have that range against Skara, be able to effectively harass him in that lane. You know, once he has the ultimate, once he has the spam ability with the blue, that's definitely going to be a threat. But Skara should be able to keep up the shield once he has the Hex Tech, can be a free farm lane. And Voyboy actually just being extremely aggressive on Hotshot here once again, but primarily just going to farm.
So now remember that once again, both of these teams have mana-less junglers. So those blue buffs are actually going to be passed quite frequently to other members of their team. We may see blue on. We're probably going to see blue on Scar just to get the extra cooldowns. Blue on Cog is going to be ridiculously dangerous. He's going to have all that mana. He can spam that ult when he gets it. He should be. He's halfway to 6 already, so he should have it very soon. Skara almost 6, so he will have the capability of getting a nice little ghost if he gets that kill he needs.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious whether or not we'll see Dignitas invade for this blue. It will be up about 9 minutes for CLG's blue, so that'll be around the time that we'll see it. But with how aggressive Lee Sin is early, with Mordekaiser, if you're going to have to walk into the bush and Mordekaiser's just sitting there ready to face you, they could definitely set up at CLG's blue, take it, not allow Kog'Maw to get that, because he really needs that spam ability to continue farming.
Scar taking quite a bit of damage now. Now that Kog'Maw is 6, he needs to go ahead and plug away whenever he needs to, but will he have enough for a revolver? I think he might be. How much gold does he need?
He's a little short right now.
He's a little short.
But we do see a tier building onto Kog'Maw, so you know, going to be able to have that large mana pool.
Scar
always a
getting
common
chunked
item.
out big time. It's way too close, but we got the ghost trigger on Big Fat. Will Scar be able to get away from this one? I'm not sure if he will. One more. Can he get it? Yes.
And then in top lane, we actually have Dominate coming into Hotshot. There's the Q from Voyboy. They're going to tower dive this. So we have Voyboy actually kick a little bit too early, but he's still chasing, going to try and get a Q. He's running through the creeps now. Hotshot is going to be able to get out of there.
A little bit of a premature kick from Voyboy. Actually, I hope he doesn't die to that tower. No. that would have been a little bit unfortunate if he just tried to walk back to lane, dies from the tower. That would have been bad.
Yeah, just one more attack for Voyboy almost would have done it. We actually have Hotshot teleporting back in, so the teleport will be down. It is about a 5-minute cooldown if Dignitas is trying to go for an early dragon. That's what they want. And actually, Hotshot definitely going to get caught out here. We have Dominate trying to get the cleaves, Hotshot trying to get out of there, taking a lot of damage, going to turn back into Dominate for a second. But Voyboy should be able to actually sit in this lane and sustain a little bit if he wants to. But actually, in the jungle, we see St. Vicious stealing that red, and then Skara trying to come up and get him out of there, but not able to stop the red steal.
Hotshot remaining in top lane, continuing to push onto Voyboy. Bot lane, Locust actually getting pretty low, getting chunked out by Caitlyn. Those built-over pacemakers do quite a bit of damage if you're in the line. But we also got the skill shots from Cutie Pie as well, so we're just going to see who's better at landing their skill shots bot lane. Scar now actually wandering to put down a ward in this tri-road area. St. Vicious actually still around, still under half health. Could have been a very bad situation, but we have the ward, so we actually have vision on Big Fat. Gonna get a quick hit on him while he's there. A hot shot once again. Dominates. He gets trapped. He's like, I'm just gonna back off.
But there you saw it mid. Scara, wanting to be aggressive, going after this race, realized he needed to get out of dodge, just had to get away from Saint. Big Fat, going to have the slows to chase him down, and Scara definitely doesn't have that survivability yet where he can be chased through the jungle, so going to want to be safe there. But I don't know, pretty effective play all around. We do see the snowballs from Locust onto Double Lift. That attack speed slow is going to hurt him some in this laning phase.
I mean, all lanes in terms of creeps are actually pretty even. But Cutie Pie actually now getting the Valkyrie in, getting a little bit more damage on Double Lift. He's about half. Has to go walk back to tower just real quick, make sure Chowster's nearby. You can use that shield definitely to shield a bunch of that damage. A little bit extra attack speed as well. Nice little added bonus there. And Scara still, again, continuing the push, but still the creeps. All these creeps. Both teams very even, very well skilled, and Voyboy, once again, Hotshot just staying in Cougar form, just in case.
Yeah, and Kog'Maw, fairly effective farm so far, has that blue buff, can start taking the race himself. We actually see Scara coming up here, knowing that Kog'Maw has recalled, knows he can be a little bit more safe there, but going to back off, doesn't want to get caught out of position. So, just going to continue farming that mid lane, maybe stealing his own race.
So we see a bunch of Dorans here on Cutie Pie, and Caitlyn actually doing the same, but now we see Dignitas actually wandering over to Dragon. CV did go down ward in the pit. 4 members of Dignitas here, but Voyboy playing Lucent, he does not have teleport, but we do have teleport on Hotshot, but it is down. So we may see a 4v4 on Dragon pretty soon.
Yeah, it will be down until about 13 minutes, so Dignitas definitely knows that's kind of their cutoff point. So they will see whether or not they go for it there. But once again, the range on Big Fat LP, able to harass down Scar with that Hextech, he should be fine. But St. Vicious coming up in this mid lane, probably won't be able to engage, trying to kind of chase him off there a little bit.
The Voyboy actually getting chunked out a little bit. Probably 1-2 spears. Nope, won't be able to get that one. But he's thinking about backing. He may very well, or he can also use the recall just to try and see if you can't bait out a skill shot and then evade at the last second. Still trying to get in, but Voyboy actually taking quite a bit, trying to sustain, trying to get a little bit of health back with the shield. He can get some extra life steal on that, but he's a little bit too far out. If he's not too careful, he may be eating a spear or two, but Dominate is not too far behind. He's here, exhaust going down on Hotshot, gonna get some extra clear, slow him down a little bit. Dominate, but who's taking tower? Voyboy's taking the tower. Oh! That could have
and
gone
actually,
a lot
Big
better.
Fat LP able to take down Mordekaiser mid. That's kind of surprising, but definitely has the range. Once he starts Scar with the chase, can just continually harass him there. But Voyboy, a little bit of a misstep. Dominate definitely needed to be the one taking the tower. He stepped a bit too far forward, so Nidalee was able to pick up the kill there.
So we got the kill on Scara in mid. Big Fat gonna be going back, buying himself something nice. But bot lane, we have St. Vicious here. Just do we want to push the lane? Maybe we can get some extra damage here on this tower. We got 3 members CLG. We actually see St. Vicious wanting. Can we be taking Dragon right now? I think we are. We got the pings going down. CLG is looking to take this, but Dignitas, they have an idea. They know. They saw them leave lane, but they're going to go ahead, play it safe, and come back.
Yeah, and we are up to that 13-minute mark almost, so Hotshot's teleport will be up shortly. So they can have that extra map control while Hotshot can just push up this top lane, be very aggressive with that split push, which is definitely in CLG's playstyle.
So, yep, teleport is now back up, so Hotshot that much more mobile at the moment. Pings going down from Dignitas onto CLG's top tower. And we see no one here in bot lane for CLG, so Dignitas going to use that to their advantage. St. Vicious now wandering around bot lane. And Scar, let's see what we got on the items so far. We got the Loda, so he's going to be able to sustain better. He's going to go ahead, any skill he has, he's going to gain quite a bit of health back, plus the shield. Going to be quite tanky for himself now.
Yeah, but at the same time, the issue with Mordekaiser is that he's, he's very easy to kite in fights. We do have a very good kite team from CLG that's generally, associated with the poke comp, with the slow from Kog'Maw, with the whirlwinds and, the ultimate from Janna. So it'll be very difficult for Mordekaiser to get up in their face. So I'm a little bit surprised that Dignitas didn't go for that dragon when they had, maybe a little bit of an opportunity. But I think the concern is that when they're all kind of grouped up in that, little cubby hole, it allows Big Fat to get really effective range harass. And then if Shyvana comes in, just tears them apart. Caitlyn is very strong early in the game. Janna extremely strong as well. They don't want to give up those kills.
So we actually got Voyboy here. He got himself a Brutalizer, and he got a nice little Null Magic Mantle as well. Going to be taking a little bit less damage from those spears if and when they do land. But we do have Dignitas here starting up on a Dragon, but there is a ward. CLG does know, and St. Vicious getting in position. Focus putting down some wards, making sure they can see. We got the artillery shots coming in, and they stole it. But now St. Vicious, can he get away? We got the ghost from Mordekaiser. Can we get the kill? Just a little bit more? Yes.
But all of that poke damage from Cog has them all extremely low. Cog actually going to flash over the wall, pick up Dominate, and almost picking up Cutie Pie. He is going to chase him down with his passive, get that kill. But now Skara chasing with Voyboy. Caitlyn has to get out of there. It was kind of an even fight for them, but Voyboy trying to pick up this last kill. Janna will be able to get him out of there. So actually, Hotshot going to be chasing after Skara. Did land a really nice spear and almost able to pick up the kill. Does have the Ignite going down. Doesn't want to face off against St. Vicious's Ghost.
That was a little bit. Oh,
wow.
Almost. So 2 for 2 over by Dragon, and we did a good, successful steal from CLG courtesy of Kog'Maw. Voyboy back in mid, trying to push the lane up now. Hotshot half health, doubling it back. I think we're going to take some wolves or even go back to top lane. But still, even then, despite that fight, gold is still pretty even.
Yeah, I mean, it was really effective play, like you said, from CLG. St. Vicious coming in there with the Smite Steal. Kog'Maw over the wall, getting off so much damage. St. Vicious, there was a time where it looked like he was just going to be bursted down. He did go down eventually, but the slow from Kog'Maw, because everyone on Dignitas is now, this short-range team, the slow was just able to get them all clumped up where they're chasing, and then he was able to get those successive artillery shots, be really effective in that damage.
So we have the artillery shots, we have the spears. It's going to be quite a bit. It's going to be quite a bit of damage CLG's dishing out if they can go and get the position they want. And Skara.
And Big Fat in that mid lane, just dropping Skara with that ranged harass. He is going to back up now. Just really surprised how effective it is at taking down the shield, but we do have Mundo coming top once again. Voyboy being aggressive. I think Hotshot kind of knows it's coming, so he's getting out of there. We do have the ward, so he's actually going to stick around for a little bit. So he knows Dominate's there, going to chuck a spear. Not really too much damage, but actually jumping in on Voyboy, but he will be fine.
Hotshot's going to be able to just leap away from all of this. Very close to tower. Voyboy's not going to be able to do too much about this. Just a little bit of harass, a little bit of damage, just to just a nice even fight here. But in the meantime, we do have Big Fat. Dominate come down. Missed Cleaver gets juked. Not a whole lot happening there, but artillery shots as he's walking away. Some free damage from Big Fat and Skara. I mean, I'm worried. I'm worried now at this point. We got the Magic Pen boots. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get in range to take advantage of those, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of honestly surprised by the Mordekaiser pick. It is, a really strong champion in Skara's repertoire, but considering the kiting potential that CLG has, considering that poke, that's kind of a hard counter to Mordekaiser. So the key is if Dignitas can force CLG to engage, then Dignitas has just such a huge advantage in those upfront fights. But CLG definitely has the cutting potential. We do see Mordekaiser starting to come in this bottom lane, though. And actually, Cutie Pie getting off some great damage against Double Lift. Does have that blue buff, spamming those bombs. And now Mordekaiser coming in behind him. See if he can pick up this under the tower. We do have Mundo as well. He is going to be going after Double Lift, so Chowster is going to get out of there. But with the exhaust, he is going to go down. Dominate blocking the ultimate from Locust. So a kill for Dignitas.
Skara, perfect timing to walk down from through the jungle. 4-man push on bot. We got the wave coming in. I think Dignitas is going ahead and back off. They got their kill. They got what they wanted. But we do have pings.
Yeah, well, while they were all bot lane, we saw St. Vicious going into the top lane, taking that tower below half health, recognizing there wasn't going to be a whole lot of threat to stop him. So, being really effective there. And Skara, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how he gets in the game. Once he has the slow, he does give them a little bit more of an engage, particularly with Lee Sin. And Lee Sin getting off some nice damage to Saint, but Probably won't go for a kill here. They're actually continuing to
got
duel.
Hotshot
We
here.
do have Nidalee coming in. Saint with the ultimate, and now Hotshot going to be able to take this down. But there's the kick from Voyboy jumping onto Saint Vicious. Can he get the kill? It's very close, but Nidalee able to pick it up. Saint baiting him in until Hotshot could come and help him out.
Man, we got Cutie Pie barely getting away. We also got Dominate here. A little bit late to the party. But man, what good kill top lane.
Yeah, and now we will see a lot of split push from Hotshot. His teleport is up. He can be extremely aggressive in this top lane. Skara sitting around the red, doesn't want them to counter jungle, knows that Shyvana just had to recall. But I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what happens once Skara gets a realize probably. Or I don't know, once he gets a little bit tankier, is able to maybe pick off targets, Kog'Maw in particular, in these fights.
Hotshot gonna go ahead and back. How much money? We got a fair amount of money actually on Skara. We can go ahead. I think we might see probably the Giants belt first, I believe. A little bit extra health on there.
I'm curious. You're right.
Oh.
That is good. I was wondering whether or not he would get a Negatron cloak for that damage, and he is. So he can keep up his shield a little bit more easily. He was taking a lot of damage from Big Fat. So that's generally a pretty common build to go the Will of the Ancients into the Negatron. After that, you're right. Probably the Giants belt, unless he wants to go with more of a damage build, and he already has a number of tanks for his team. So he might actually decide that he wants to sit back, but the Nidalee Spear taking him down a little bit, and CLG able to take a tower mid, being actually very aggressive, starting their pushing, and we actually have the ultimate from Doublelift going to take Skara down, see if they can stop him from even being able to engage while they're just sitting here poking down this tower, wearing it down with the long range from Caitlyn. She is very aggressive at taking towers, and Big Fat with that spam ability.
Dignitas here, all members waiting late in the jungle, which Stream can't get an ambush while they're walking away. They thought they'd stick around just for a little bit longer. Everyone from Dignitas just converged, tried to see if they can't make something happen, but that tower, 310 health it looks like. And we got Voidboy actually going in, trying to get a little bit slow, but we got this next mini wave pushing. CLG's looking to take this tower out real quick. I'm not sure if Dignitas should be sticking around for this.
Yeah, CLG definitely has an extremely strong pushing team with that range. There it is, the second tower. We'll see whether or not they stick with this, but it does open up ganking opportunities for Dignitas. We do see Locust coming in behind. If he can get that nice ultimate, then that'll be huge, for this next fight.
Yeah, we got two members of Dignitas there are on the back row. We could see Dignitas push this. Scar is actually really weak though. Dominate trying to take as much damage as he can. St. Bish is now going towards the back of the line, and Cutie Pie belted immediately. They saw what was up. They saw right through the plan, and they knew how to focus at Skara, barely getting away.
But just too much kiting from CLG. Even with that ultimate, we didn't see the best new ult that you want. We had the Monsoon from Chowster able to split off the team. They just have so much kiting potential. And CLG going to take an inhibitor. It's going to be extremely difficult for Dignitas to come back into this game at this point. But the thing is, with a poke team, there's very low room for error. CLG, just one single mistake. Dignitas, if they get a Baron, if Dignitas is able to pick off a member of CLG, very quickly, the poke team becomes weak in team fights. If the enemy team can be aggressive, force you into fights, then very quickly, poke is a lot weaker. But at the same time, CLG just fantastic play with this poke comp right now, able to slowly wear down Dignitas and then just not allow the engage. We don't have that hard engage from Dignitas that you would like, and it will be very difficult with their comp.
In the meantime, we do have Caitlyn top lane. We're going to go ahead and take the top tier tower here. Number 1 tier tower going down top lane, and Voyboy, taking a surprise spear from Hotshot from the bush.
He's going to get another one too. Hotshot just chasing him down, but actually jumping into him. So Voyboy has to use his ultimate there to get Hotshot off of him. In the meantime, wow, almost another spear, but we do have Dignitas taking that dragon.
Too far. Hotshot's a little bit too far out here. The tides are turning. Locust and Skara now in pursuit. You see Skara got to leap away, needs to try and get away as far as he can. Hotshot will actually leave those leaps.
And so there you go. So much mobility from CLG. Hotshot able to play so aggressively, knowing he can just easily escape from Dignitas' clutches. They can't get, those pickoffs that they like. So I don't know if they have such a strong tanky team, if they can force a fight, that's always the case. But St. Vicious chasing down Voyboy here, does have the red buff, is getting a lot of damage under tower. We have the rest of CLG coming in, but Dignitas with the kill. There it is, Lee Sin going to go down. Big Fat with that long range. There's the Caitlyn ultimate. CLG picking up the kill. Big Fat onto Nunu, and now CLG has this fight. They can zone them now. Can we see a Big Fat ultimate onto Skara? The slow going off onto Dominate, but this is going to be another tower, and in the meantime, mid is pushing from that inhibitor.
We have all the super minions in mid. We should be hitting the next.
Oh, those shots
soon.
The Nidalee Spear almost hitting, but Big Fat hitting all of his ultimates.
We got Big Fat with the mortar shots. We got Hot Shot with the spears. There's no way Dignitas can defend this. And we have the push from the super minions here onto the Nexus towers. Missing one more spear, but it's okay. We got the Trez, we got a little bit, few minions. We got another wave coming very soon. All of Dignitas back up. CLG might want to back off here, but they can go ahead and get a little bit more harassed on this tower, going halfway down. Now CLG needs to get out of here real quick.
And there you see the burst from Kog'Maw. He has that slow to disengage so easily. It's so difficult for Dignitas to have the fight that they want. And then Skara taking all of that damage from that range damage, and CLG just slowly pushing down this tower. Know they can be extremely safe and just make life hell for Dignitas right now.
One more creep wave. They should be able to take out this tower pretty convincingly. Everyone in the game is here. All 10 members in our game are top tower here. We got Dignitas trying to defend. We got CLG with this wave. Should be able to poke it down, at which point we could have another inhibitor going down very quick if we get that inhib. If CLG gets a few members of the Dignitas, they could just push for game. If not, they can go for Baron and try and secure it. Tower going down, CLG. What are you going to do? Are you going to go? Are you going to go in? Are you going to back off? We're waiting. Waiting to see. We got more spears coming in. I think they're just waiting for their opportunity. If they can get a little bit more damage on Dignitas, they might just go in. Dignitas backing away wisely, giving up this inhibitor, trying to get them in a little bit closer. Dominate coming in, but the inhibitor will go down. And now it's CLG. They've done what they needed to do, but Voyboy going in with the kick, following up with the Q and melting immediately, a little bit too hasty. Dominate in the middle of the fight, and Locust Nunu ult getting blown away by Chowster. Dominate is now trying to run away, still absorbing as much damage as he can. Big Fat LP being focused down by Dignitas, but it's not going to be doing a whole lot. Nunu almost getting away, but Big Fat LP will actually fall. Mundo going to be the next to go down. We got the Ghost. We have a nice little Kog'Maw Ghost, though, for Skara, but will he die before Kog'Maw gets any shots off? Cutie Pie. Double flashing over the wall. Can we get
the spear!
Oh!
And so you saw, actually, as he was kiting, Doublelift dropped a trap so that they had vision, and in the meantime, St. Vicious pushing mid, but the trap gave them vision of Cutie Pie over that wall, the beautiful spear, and that's what you see, just such effective play from CLG. Once Dignitas gets it engaged, they're definitely extremely strong in these fights. Just one, misstep from CLG could instantly turn it into Dignitas' favor. That is the threat. But CLG, just with perfect coordination, able to kite Dignitas so effectively in these fights.
CLG, they've taken down 2 inhibitors from Dignitas, and you know what? I think we're getting ready. We're getting the wards. Chowster's putting them all around Baron. They want to make sure they can secure it for themselves. Dignitas could try and dispute this, but in the meantime, they're going to have all these super minions pushing in onto their base. They can be here, but not for very long. CLG ramping up, mobilizing it towards Baron. They should be taking this ASAP, but we do have an inhibitor respawn in mid, but we still have a few super minions going in for the push. Skara clearing out minion wave top.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious whether or not CLG go for this Baron or not. I doubt they will because they are at an advantage right now. They know their best situation is when they have this open lane. They can sit there and stall, have those great Nidalee Spears, have those Kog'Maw ultimates, and just stall Dignitas right in the middle of the lane, slowly pushing down the inhibitor. So you see they are coming mid, and then they can transition to bottom lane, completely ignore Baron because they have no use for it. The regen would be nice, but Baron is about the only way. It is one of the main ways that Dignitas is going to try and get into this game. If Dignitas can catch CLG doing Baron, maybe get a steal, get a good fight, and then very quickly they would win. But again, those Nidalee Spears chunking Nunu, he is going to have to back, and this should be the push for the inhibitor now.
We've managed to get one member of Dignitas out of the fight. He has no choice but to back, regain some health, and in the meantime, we got Doublelift just plugging away at the inhibitor. Another huge spear, all this damage, and now Dominate. He's getting a little bit too hasty. He has to go right in on our front line. Will he be able to get away just barely? And we got the ult going down from Caitlyn onto Skara, barely edging it out, but St. Vicious now in front. The Chowster getting the ult off, getting a little bit extra heals off. We got the inhibitor now going down once again in mid. We almost had a Shyvana Ghost. but CLG got their objective, backing it once again for the reset.
Yeah, in all these fights, you see CLG not going in for those heavy kills. They're just sitting there constantly kiting, constantly wearing them down so they can take the turret advantages. That's what they want. And so with those 2 inhibitors down, they can just set up in this bottom lane now and just slowly wear down Dignitas as top and mid push. And it will be, again, extremely difficult for Dignitas to defend because they don't have that great initiation. They do have Lee Sin. Lee Sin can engage on the team, but with the slows, with the whirlwind from Janna, there's just so much kiting potential from CLG.
Scar trying to get rid of that ward, but we got all this poke. We got Big Fad putting down the artillery shots, but he is getting a little bit low on mana, so that is a little bit of a concern. But we got Dominate popping the ult. He wants to get the engage. They're getting a little bit too hasty. They're being slowed. They're being chunked away, but Double is actually caught out in front, and now Saint Vicious, next target, Dominate, will be getting out in front, doing some damage, doing some slows, not able to get away. Will Dignitas continue the counter engagement?
Yeah, and you do see, wow, the flash from Voyboy, he doesn't quite have the energy. He will jump in. The whirlwind will stop him, but Dignitas still extremely strong in these head-to-head fights if they can sit there and close on someone. They were able to pick off Double Lift there. Then they were able to chase down Saint Vicious. They have, with the Mundo Slow, with the red buff, they have good sticking power once they engage. The issue is how they engage and whether or not they can pick anyone off.
When CLG, they may be down one member so far. If this goes into a full-on engage, it would be a 3v4. But that's one of the advantages of having all this poke. You don't need to be on the front lines in order to do damage. Dominic coming to try and get a little bit more damage on here. We got the mini wave tanking the tower. Dignitas here to defend. And you know what? I also just want to take a moment to note. Look at all these towers still left up for CLG. Dignitas has not taken a single one.
Yeah, CLG just complete control of the game so far. Again, Dignitas, they recognize, though, their team can just snowball extremely quickly whenever they get a chance. So one, misstep from CLG, one big fight for Dignitas could be huge, but we do have this bottom tower almost going down. One of the Nexus turrets is almost down as well. And in the meantime, we see Saint and Double Lift are going to just do a 2-man Baron here. They can do it extremely easily. They have plenty of damage. Dignitas can't defend it because we have this split push. And even with this split push, there's not that hard of a engagement opportunity. So they know that they can kite with the slows. They know they can kite with the whirlwinds, and they can just get out of there. So there's no opportunity for the 5v3 fight from CLG.
CLG CVs around the Baron, but we got the buff. Now Dignitas knows, oh, that's where they've been this entire time. We can get a few more shots here on this turret. Should go down, yes. And now CLG can just go ahead. There are all these, all the tier 3 towers are down. We got super minions actually pushing the Nexus towers. One inhibitor still up, second inhibitor still up. Last few super minions going to be taken out there by Voyboy, but Dignitas once again, they have no choice. They have to defend. CLG with Baron buff, all 5 members, they can go ahead, get the push they need, and they just slow push for the game.
We do have a cleave on the hotshot, though. There's kind of a chase here. Skara going down very quickly. There's the ultimate from Caitlyn. Can he go down? It does hit. One more spear. Oh! The spear actually hitting Cutie Pie. We do have the shield from Voyboy on the Skara, but that is huge. We will have this inhibitor going down with the 5v4. Wow, another spear picking up Skara. And so now we're going to have all the inhibitors down. This is going to be the final push for CLG. They're taking the game against Dignitas 2-0 in the series with that beautiful game, that poke comp. Just really effective play the entire game.
CLG, all they need to do is take out these Nexus turrets. Dominate, caught out in front. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot. This is Dignitas' last stand, but they can't do very much. Second tower going down, and then onto the Nexus. CLG moving on to grand finals against TSM GG.
And that's what I was hoping for. I was talking with CLG coming into this tournament. I wanted to see the poke comp at some point in time. It is one of those comps that they are very well known for. We had seen it with the GG Classic. They had used it to some effect, primarily because they can just play it so well, even with a ping disadvantage. But here we saw that wasn't an issue, obviously, with this setup. So they're just able to have the perfect coordination in those fights, always turning back and forth when they need to, kiting just enough, and then turning back to get that damage on Dignitas while Dignitas is retreating, never giving them an opportunity to engage.